And we are live. Hello, everybody. Good time of day, whatever time of day that is for you. It's another Sunday hobby hangout. Sorry, I'm just finishing up eating something. Now, as the title says today, we've got the walls, the Zone Mortalis walls to deal with. But before that, let's check on what's coming out next Sunday. Boop, there we go. It is the Kelteam Exodite. Elves riding dinosaurs, which we all wanted. And a lot of orcs. In fact, way more orcs than elves riding dinosaurs because they had to make this box worth something. So obviously the elves are brand new. Nothing in the orc part is, but they're the newer orcs. Well, I guess not anymore because those are a few years old. But they're the Beast Snagga boys. Obviously the dinosaurs are what we're really after. I'll be getting this box if at all possible. Whoops. There. Hello, Daniel on the grass. We're also getting the first release of the 40k terrain. So this is not the pre-painted stuff. This is just the basic terrain, which I do kind of want. On the other hand, it is just more L-shaped ruins, you know? So, But some of this stuff is more interesting, the parts where you guys, I mean, you know, I'm thinking of this for like Necromunda and stuff like that, but a little more interesting than more L-shaped industrial ruins, which we certainly don't have any shortage of. I mean, it's nice, but, you know, not exciting. This is not the pre-painted stuff. This is the pre-painted stuff will come out later. And interestingly, we're getting the Spectre Squad from the last Kill Team release, but not the Red Terror itself. Which I hope is not a sign of things to come. I hope because that is a brand new Tyranid model that they're just not releasing, I guess. I'm assuming they will eventually. These guys are obviously very reminiscent of like the Rebels from Star Wars Episode 6. They're fine. I'll probably get them eventually. Accompanying data cards and a bunch of other old kill teams that are being released in standalone boxes. You've got your Recruit and your Breachers and your Beastmen and your RBDs and your Kazrakin and your Raptors. It's basically saying that these are going to get cycled out of Kill Team because Kill Team has a cycle on it, which really sucks. But you can buy them for 40k, which I guess is nice. Mark IV Squad for Heresy. I don't like Mark IV armor. I find it very boring because I'm a weirdo who likes beakies. Mark IV Assault Squad, which is just, you know, they've got swords, pistols, and jetpacks. Combi weapons and shotguns. That's handy for if you just need a upgrade kit, I guess. And then a bunch of Black Library stuff. We'll talk more about that on the later Sunday video. So for now, let's get back to painting. In the Grimdark future of the 41st millennium, there are only L-shaped ruins. Yeah, pretty much, and they really doubled down on that recently with the terrain changes. They were not. Yeah, they had the chance to try and make terrain something different, and they didn't. All right, get a drink there. Okay, so I got walls, to the windows, to the walls, to the paint runs down my walls. So what I did with these is these were primed with a dark brown, and then zenithal from above with the actual color we want to use, which is this Wraithbone. We're kind of going for box art on these. And it looks like mission accomplished in the fact that I probably won't actually have to use any of this Wraithbone for the walls themselves, which is actually kind of nice. It's not going to be easy because I am going to have to paint all the gray. Like, there's no way around it. These take time. In fact, maybe I should bring up I wonder if I can put a picture of what I'm talking about. Open image in new tab. Give you guys a reference. Save image as walls. There we go. And then add image. Walls. Browse. Downloads. Walls. There we go. Look at that. I'll just put these up in the corner over here. There we go. That's kind of what we're going for. The very, very classic. Now, mine will end up being a lot dirtier than that because, you know me, I love my enamel washes on terrain, but testing, testing. How about now? Yeah, it says it's back. Weird. Just completely lost sound for some baffling reason. I do not know why. For some reason, OBS just decides. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know at what point it left sound, but what I'm going to do is I want these to be gray. But sorry, I want these to not be gray because, as you can see in the picture, the tops of the columns are actually still this bone color. So I'm going to pop those out, and actually the first thing we're going to do is I should get a way bigger brush. Don't know why I'm using this tiny brush for terrain. Now the problem, and you know what, if I was thinking this, I would have varnished. But I wasn't, and I'll probably varnish the other ones before I do them with matte varnish. Because the Wraithbone Primer, this is official Games Workshop Wraithbone Primer, because it was actually cheaper than using stuff from the store for us because we work for a game store. Like, that's the end-all be-all of it. If you are doing this at home, I would probably recommend just buying any other bone primer. Although I could not find one that matched the color I want. That being said, you could probably just get something close enough. But you don't want anything glossy or satin, and the problem is that Wraithbone Primer, GW Wraithbone Primer, is just a little bit satin. So, a little bit hydrophobic. See how it's beading off? Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Oh, no, that's the focus, Josh, not the zoom. Dang it, sorry. I'm being silly. Yeah, see how it's beading off right there? Oh, gosh, I didn't realize that was going to be that bad. I guess I really should have matte varnished this. We might have to delay this. I mean, it's just coming right off there. Good heavens. Well, we can fix that real quick. Where did my matte varnish go? Boop ba doop ba doop. It's my friend Matt. Uh-huh. Wow, yeah. My other walls and columns I'm definitely gonna have to matte varnish, which I need to do a bunch of matte varnishing anyway, because I gotta matte varnish all the tiles that I finished. So let's just take a layer of varnish to give us some tooth. But yeah, now I know why. It's because the GW primers, or specifically the Wraithbone primer, is meant to be used with their contrast paints, right? Which are meant to flow. So what they did to make that work is they added a bit of satin into the mix so that the contrast paint would do the contrast thing naturally. Honestly, though, it's been like years and years and years since I used this stuff. I probably should have seen that coming. I kind of feel ashamed I didn't. Oh well. The other ones, we will fix that by doing a quick spray, because I'm not going to do the contrast thing, so. Although it would be nice for when I do the enamel wash, because then I won't have to resatin it, but I don't think I have that luxury. I think I'm going to have to just matte varnish it and then resatin it. Okay, well, hope you're all having a good day. It's okay out today. It's a little bit better than it was. It rained yesterday, which helped clear up some of the wildfire smoke. Again, if you know anybody in Canada, they're having a rough time over there. Ugh, yeah, I'm not going to hand varnish all this. We'll get what we can done one bit at a time today. Worst case, I've got these other Orlocks to paint. Luckily, the weather today will be nice enough that immediately after streaming I can go out and matte varnish these, so... Mitchell's currently having a very normal one in our group chat about not getting the Red Terror, which I feel for him. This is kind of weird that they're doing it that way. I hope they're not doing any shenanigans with that. Alright. Well, while we're waiting for you to dry a little bit... Uh-oh, what did I knock over? Oh. The pot topper. Let's see what else I could do. Well, I can't work on the tiles because they're done. Yay! I'm actually quite pleased about that. Okay, well. So, I know what we can do because we were going to do this anyway. We can go back to doing the metallics on our Orlock. Because that does not require my wet palette. Let me see. It wasn't gunmetal. Gunmetal was for the gun. You know, fittingly. Which I guess we can do that right now. Just because I'm holding the gunmetal, right? Shaky, shaky, shaky. You don't want to use wet metallics with a wet palette. It gets weird and gets metal in your palette. Alright, let's get the gun. Now this isn't going to be a champion. This is just going to be a ganger. And for gangers, I like actually doing their guns in a full gun metal. I won't make it rusty as much because it's Orlock and I figure they take better care of their weapons, as I said last time. But I do figure that, you know, in the Underhigh, you probably don't have a lot of finishing and anodizing of gunmetal. Kind of just grab a gun off the line, it's probably not finished. Get under there. There we go. Da-da-da. All right. I guess after I finish this coat, I can show off the tiles that I did finish. I'm very happy with them. The only thing they need is they need a matte varnish to lock it all in, and then after the matte varnish, I will do a dry brush of metallic, because the matte varnish would knock the shine out, and I want to do just a little bit of metallic to, you know, sell the idea of it being metal down there. Just very, very corroded metal. Making sure I'm on camera and vaguely in focus. This is their gun, whereas you can tell this is a resin piece because you look from the top down, you can see her gun kind of goes has a little bit of curve to it. Now that might be because of bad resin. Might be because I just didn't catch it before I assembled it. Or maybe it's because she has a slight edge in shooting around corners. In fact, let's go with that. Like, you think she's pointing at you, but she's actually pointing off. Or it's that one, there was a Czech rifle, semi-automatic rifle in World War II with a tilting bolt design. But instead of putting the tilting bolt vertically, theirs was horizontally. So the gun does actually, like, doesn't curve. It has an angle to it from the buttstock to the barrel because the way the bolt is set, it's not a straight line gun, which is very, very interesting. I cannot remember the name of that gun. The VZ-24, maybe? Trying to call back to my time playing Enlisted. It's about my only familiarity with it. There we go. I do like how for the simplicity of modeling, all of the Orlok guns have stocks, but they're all folding stocks, and they're all folded up. No one in this universe cares about 3 points of contact. I will say that as I do more and more research into making a Secundus gang, just for the novelty of it, I am looking more and more into doing a Spryer-led one, an actual Secunda incursion gang. It won't be an Oris, though. It'll be probably the jetpack one, just because I think it's so cool. I know it's, like, objectively the worst one, but rule of cool. Likely just need to heat up the resin and bend it to the proper shape once it's less likely to result in messing up the paint job. Yep, and I can do that after I finish painting it and varnish it. Like, I have a heat gun I can do. Also, hello, Omega Richaro. There you go. Yeah, and I'm kind of just annoyed that I missed it, because I should have caught it, because she had the same issue, like with her, not her gun, but her hair was bent weird when I got her, and one of her legs was bent weird, and I fixed this one. I think, honestly, very cynically, I put more effort into this one because it's a champion model, and I just didn't catch this one because I thought, oh, I'll never use an Orlok with an auto gun, and that was wrong, because now I'm using an Orlok with an auto gun. Speaking of, where's mine? Now, we're going to use a brighter silver with the knowledge that it's going to get way deadened down. So here's our Orlok that has had a wash applied to her. Washes. It's not one wash. I used Nuln oil on her gun and metallics and the dark parts, but Chara is pronounced like a soft sh, like chef, so Rashara? Okay. Oh, I see the X. No. Yeah, okay. Rashara. Gotcha. That makes sense, now that I think about it. So I've got a flesh wash on her, a brown wash on her hair, a black wash on everything else. So that really deadens down the metallic. The other thing I'll do today is with her, I will put Agrax on parts of the metallic to sell the idea. In fact, we can just do that right now. To get that kind of rusty Orlok metal look. Oops, did I put metal in my water again? Meh, I did. Oh well. It was a very small amount. Okay, let's get... So, what we're going to do here is we're going to rust up some, but not like so, for example, I'm going to put this Agrax around this skull here, so that the skull, because she is a champion, so she has these kind of, embossments on her that a normal ganger wouldn't have. So the skull remains nice and bright and shiny, but the other details on her are a little more rusted in. Good evening. Hello, Spudgy. I'm not even that late tonight. You are not. I am thinking I think I am going to start an hour earlier. Maybe not next week. But because it would give me more time to not have to rush to record with Mitchell immediately afterwards. Because as it is like I can't go over it all because I got to shut down this one and get over to Mitchell immediately to make sure we can record the Sunday preview run now. So, rest up, rest up. Delving into the nuked hive wreckage, it seems only fitting to make your gang like the Marines from Aliens that Bryce Price more likely to have plot armor. Has a real glossy vibe. She obviously managed to get some good shampoo. Yeah, you can tell that's because I put on this, because all washes have a little bit of gloss to them, right? And you can tell that she hasn't been fully highlighted or matte varnished yet for that reason. Like, yeah, her hair is a very high gloss. I mean, she is a champion, so maybe she's hoarding the good stuff for herself, right? But I'm gonna do a matte varnish. Yep. All right. Then we're gonna target some of the metals on her feet for dirtying, but we're not gonna do the whole thing. Just get some. Just this is more for some variety of color in the metals without actually having to paint full new colors on the metallics. Warlock, sponsored by L'Oreal, led by the Spire. Witch Tiptree, 11. Hello. L'Oreal, because you're worth it too. Remember how it was as kids, we all thought the L'Oreal shampoo said no tears, but it actually meant no tears. That's why it still hurt when it got in your eyes. Make an Outcast gang for the pull bottom versus chat effect. Look, the only reason I'm not doing the Outcast thing is because I have done Outcasts more than I've done any other gang. I need to not do Outcasts again. I need to experience something. And that's the other thing. The reason I think I want to do a Spire-led gang is I've done Orlock like 3 or 4 times. And I could do them again and have lots of fun, especially because Secundus itself is very different. But I think I'm going to do a Spire-led gang. So maybe after this I'll go get the box I have and we could assemble that. If I run out of things to paint, which I don't think I will, but all right, do I want to do rust on her belt buckle? Yeah, the belt buckles are usually rusted, aren't they? Because it's the House of Iron, not the House of Clean Chrome. All right. And then some selective highlights, and some of that will sell that effect even better. Of course, I could always start doing the base as well, because I gotta do that. Iron is a weird choice to make a buckle. It is! And it's probably not iron, because everything in, Necromunda has been recycled 40 billion times at this point, right? So it's probably some... And I'm not saying the buckle's actually iron, I'm just saying that aesthetically it would be iron. Yeah, that's the reason they use brass. Way lighter. Way lighter. Turns out just like actual iron is like really heavy. And not good for wearing. There's a reason you don't wear like iron armor. There's a reason like body armor. It's the things that happens on backpacks these days. Really? Why? Oh, I don't want to know. Is it a dumb prepper thing? Okay. There's a reason that like the idea of a like full body armor and plate armor did not come about when iron was still the main choice. Because trying to wear a full iron suit will just kill you. Brass is much more corrosion resistant. Yes, iron is not particularly corrosion resistant. I mean, because it's just, functionally it is just elemental iron. Not really, of course, because pure elemental, pure anything doesn't really exist in these terms. And iron, as you know from your blood, loves to catch oxygen. In fact, it's very, very good at it. It's so good at it that most life on Earth is based around that concept. Brass is actually heavier than iron. Oh, you know what? I did not know that. Iron armor also would be way too soft, yeah. Because you can bend iron with your hands. Where'd I put my brown? There it is. Brigadine brown. I don't know. Iron's pretty heavy. I think it would be a heavy... I mean, because you didn't wear brass armor either. Like... But I am not an expert. But I know which one I'd pick if I was given the choice. Still want GP to release a solar auxiliary weapons pack with a grain launcher so I can complete my custom outcast gang led by a noble using the command pack from Horsehair C3K. Yeah, that would be nice. Turns out it took us centuries to figure out how to make iron in forms that don't suck. Oops, forgot the other belt buckle here, or the other buckle here. I mean, I'm here making, like, again, I could take the time to make these buckles out of, like, a different metal, but I'm not doing that. Especially not on a ganger. Sorry. Making steel plates is hard, yeah. Insert your joke about 1,000 times folded Nippon steel here for katanas or whatever. Come on, there we go. But yeah, there's a reason all the metals in 40k have weird different names. None of them are like recognizable chemically as anything. You know, they all call them plasteel or ceramite or ferrosteel, right? Where it's like, what does ferrosteel even mean? Or ferrocrete, which iron concrete? Okay. So you mean steel reinforced concrete? No, it's something different. Stop asking. It's just 100% tin can. Yeah. The titanium buckles. Ooh. Electroplated plastic. Ugh. What is this, a loot crate? Yeah, promethium is an element. But did promethium exist when they came up with that concept, or was that discovered afterwards? Because that might be why. Or, you know, it's 40k. They could have just forgotten the name of it. Promethium could just be gasoline, and they just don't call it that, right? Custom names do mean IP protection. That's way more of a recent thing. Most of 40k's history is just coming up with stupid names for things. Yeah, deuterium tipped bolts. I mean, the concept of deuterium tipped bolts is because somebody heard of depleted uranium tipped weaponry, but wanted to make a different element that sounds more sci-fi. That's literally it. And you know, that is not unique to 40k. Star Trek does the same thing. It's like, oh, well, it's not lithium, it's dilithium. Both because A, it lets it sound more sci-fi, and B, it covers up for like, well, lithium doesn't actually do that. I mean, lithium's an incredibly important, but we know what lithium does. It does not let you make warp cores. It's like, but dilithium, which doesn't exist, and therefore we can say whatever it wants. We realized rebar creates weak points, so we instead diffusing the iron throughout the whole batch of concrete. You just dip your bolts in heavy water. That reminds me of the Hogan's Heroes episode where they get some, like, Oh, what is it? It's like it's pre-heavy water, and Hogan convinces Clink that it's like gonna it's a miracle treatment to bring his hair back, so he just drinks it. This is very interesting. I don't know if you can see this on camera. She has a wrench in her boot. So I'm gonna have to. I am gonna paint that in a different color. Although, yeah, as what you said, you don't want too many different metallics going on at once for visual busyness. You dip your bolts in heavy water, and they're just wet. That was that was Skyfall, right? Where Bond went up at the very beginning and got shot by an assassin who was using depleted uranium rounds or something like that. It's like, you don't use those on people. I mean, they're armor piercing, but it was just like a Glock firing depleted uranium rounds. Do not drink heavy water. It wasn't heavy water in Hogan's Heroes. It was like pre-heavy water. It was the stuff that you later. I think it was deuterium water. There's a name for it in that kind of thing, and I can't remember what it was. It was a real thing, and it just slightly tasted slightly sweet or something like that. This is one of those points where the tritium tip bolts, sci-fi tracer rounds. There you go. My brain fills tritium as the MacGuffin element in the second Sam Raimi Spider-Man, because it's what Doc Ock needs to make his reactor work is tritium. And thus it will always exist as such in my brain. Oh, it wouldn't taste any different. Hogan's Heroes lied to me. How could it? What do you mean, 50s comedy World War II film or shows aren't scientifically accurate? Next, you're going to tell me being in a prison camp wasn't a jolly fun time. Bum 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 ba da bum bum ba little ba da bum 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 ba dum bum 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 ba dum ba da 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 da. Tungsten shot to bring drones down though. Yeah, drones are weird. I believe the most effective thing they found for taking down drones is just a twin-linked Maxim machine gun because it's water-cooled and therefore can fire basically always. Oh, is that where the term jam happy comes from? I did not know that. I'm gonna paint that wrench in a different color. Yeah, the Maxim gun weighs a ton. You don't carry a Maxim gun. That's an emplacement. That's an emplacement weapon. Well, it works better as an emplacement weapon than the taking a rotary cannon off of a hind, as we all know from that now viral video of the Russians trying that. Of course, the version I'm familiar with, which is you set to you spin me right round. The wildest realization for me is that combat drones aren't wireless and it's impacting the cost of fiber optic cables. Yep, because wireless is way too easy to jam. So it's just miles and miles and miles and miles of fiber optic cables, and it's causing the price of fiber optic cables. It's like the one thing we can't blame on AI. I've got you spin me right around stuck in head. You spin me right around, baby, right round. And of course I am being silly here by painting this wrench a different color for absolutely no reason. But, you know, what are we here for if not a little silliness? Just a bit silly. Oh, yeah, I mean, it's also to do with AI. Sorry, I should say something we can't blame entirely on AI. But let's not get into that too heavily, because we'll get depressed. Silliness in Necromunda? It's more likely than you think. I want the good War of the Worlds movie, but the drum of the USB drive is fiber optics operated. That movie! I can't believe you made me watch that. That movie is like the polar opposite in every way from the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds movie. The Tom Cruise War of the Worlds movie is like so close to being good, except it's got Tom Cruise in it, and Dakota Fanning's fine, but what they made her character do is like just very irritating. Um, Whereas this one is so not close to being an actually good movie, but at the same time, it's such a good movie to watch. It's a very fun movie. A fun, absolutely ludicrous movie with a terrible message about fatherhood and surveillance state. and Deus Ex Amazonica. If you haven't seen the new War of the Worlds, I mean, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to recommend it because, again, it's not a good movie, but it is a funny movie. I would rather watch it again than the Tom Cruise World of Worlds movie. Mostly because that one's just kind of annoying. It has many terrible messages in it, be at least like 70% of them. I don't think that movie believes in anything. I think that movie believes in Amazon. That's what that movie actually believes in. And that's all that movie believes in. Sail the Seven if you want to check that movie out. War Games is the movie you're thinking of, Spudgy. Um, and that movie, the main character shares my name, and that is the movie from which the famous quote, "What a strange game! The only winning move is not to play," comes from, specifically in reference to tic tac toe. Which is not entirely true, because the actual way to play tic tac toe is to play with somebody who doesn't know how to play tic tac toe, which I think is more appropriate for thermonuclear warfare. Just play with somebody who's not playing the same game, and that's how you win. Because if you're playing the same game as everyone else, you lose. Or at least tie. I think it's called War Games. Am I misremembering the actual name of it? But yes, that's the one where the ending is he tricks the computer into committing, like, destroying itself, I guess, by having it play tic-tac-toe, and then it can't win tic-tac-toe because tic-tac-toe is an unwinnable game if both players don't make a serious mistake. Oh, air power. Oh, victory through air power. Oh, is that like a 40s, like, semi... Is that like one of those semi, propagandish films Disney did? You know, like Donald Duck telling you not to get VD? Here's hoping the upcoming edition Necromunda releases all the new books in digital as well as physical form. Let line in the back if they do that, since said books will be stored in a tablet. I seriously doubt they will, unfortunately, because for a while they were, and it seems they've completely abandoned that concept, which is absolutely a shame, and very irritating. Because yeah, I would agree that, like, yeah, like, you know, even Hasbro did that for a while. It's like, yeah, you could buy the D&D book for $50, or you can buy it for, $20. Leo told me we're gonna do any desert power instead. With a lot more believable AI for its time. Yeah. The ebook stopping is apparently because of some legal issue. Yeah, I've heard that in multiple different ways, but I don't know how much I believe them because it's Games Workshop. Like there's some issue with e-law over something that I'm not familiar with, living in the United States where I just don't know. Where'd I put my black? Where did I put my black, 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 black? Where did I put you? Oh, there you are. I found it. I don't flippin' know, yeah. I wonder if they came up against a minor legal hurdle and it screwed this, so I can't be bothered. Yeah, I mean, that might also be it. Like, legal hurdle could just be, whatever. Oops. I do this every time. I always forget the gloves. I always forget to make sure that they can have boiled goose. Which is very important. Oh, that glove has no texturing on it. Oh boy. Hey, we try and keep the channel PG-13, usually. For all the kids watching Necromunda. But you never know. And also some kids watch things, or some parents have things on with their kids in the background, and they'd rather not hear the swears. Well, yeah, that is the thing, Rashara, right? It's like, you know, it's always the if you give them away digitally, technically you're making it easier for piracy, but not really in all, because like that's not offering them digitally is not going to stop pirates. But not offering them digitally will get people who don't want to buy a physical book to pirate them when they probably would have just bought it digitally. It's a Steam thing, right? If you just make it easier to buy your crap, there will be people who will always pirate your stuff no matter what you do, and those people were never a sale. So there is no point in trying to worry about those people, right? Like, they're going to pirate your stuff no matter how hard it is to pirate, and they're going to never buy your stuff no matter how cheap or easy it is, because for some people, just getting it for free is the point in of itself. And that's a different topic. But if you do make it difficult to get your crap, other people who would totally buy your stuff will absolutely have pirated it just because they feel like they don't have another choice. Yes, there is. Sorry, you can just call me Omega. Okay, sorry. Yeah, tablet's so much easier. And oh yeah, there's absolutely the irony of like keeping things quote unquote friendly, but we're talking about Warhammer, and yet, it's like keeping family friendly Minecraft when Minecraft is a game about doing terrible things to villagers. Now keep it family friendly as we put all of these chickens into the blender to get drops. And yet, at least as far as YouTube is concerned, especially because YouTube does, do some weird shenanigans. Yeah, iTunes showed that ease of access still works. Back in the day, I read quite a few books that ever came out digitally on a Nokia phone. Life always finds a way. Life, finds a way. Yeah, I have Trench Crusade has ruined me because for Trench Crusade, I just bring the PDFs on my tablet, and now going back to Necromunda, it's like what happens is you just end up using Munda Manager, right? Like because it's all there, or any of other number of equivalent things. You don't have to do that. I'm not your average Minecraft player. Uh, okay, I catch any or miss any metals. Gonna have to do a second pass on some of these, but oh, how did I get that down there again? I did this last time. That's why I bought the Buffy box set. Yeah, if I can get my stuff physically, I've been trying to rewatch because it's been a long time, and I also never really watched all of it. For some reason, I wanted to watch Star Trek again. Necrodamus compilation resource, right? And like but I don't want to go pay for Paramount Plus to stream um Star Trek. I would rather have the DVDs. I should probably. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Different problem there, Spudgy. With the you grow up with something and then. Wait, are you saying that if you grow up with a property and then it turns out the person behind it is a massive douche canoe that like you can divest yourself from it fully? But I really like. I'm not gonna go there. Cough, Sony cough. Yeah, yeah. That's another thing is like just not owning your stuff. That's a different thing entirely. Where in the age of all the companies trying to move to a rental platform, owning your stuff is an act of rebellion. Is that a hare or is that a what are you? Where's my knife? Yeah, we were all thinking it's Budgie. But again, that's one thing I won't get into on the channel. It's crap. Did I use strap or ironclad? Yeah. There's the problem of not being able to launch your stuff legally because your old stuff doesn't work anymore. Good morning, Battleshock's favorite nerdling. All right, get a couple more. I know the title said we're working on walls today, but then I realized that I had forgotten when I primed them in Wraithbone that Wraithbone is incredibly hydrophobic primer that I need to actually like put a matte varnish on over before I try and just like brush normal paint on. So we're back to Orlocks. Whoopsie daisy. My bad. Yeah, media obsolescence and impermanence. Yep. So having a discussion the other day when Steam goes publicly traded for whatever reason, whether that's Gabe Newell sells it or dies or whatever, it's going to be apocalyptic for the video game industry. At least from the consumer point of view, because someone is going to buy it and all because Steam right now, the video game world as we know it, consumer wise, exists because Steam is content to sit there and take 30% of all games, and that's how Gabe Newell can afford a super yacht factory. When that changes, when someone else buys it or it goes publicly traded, that will change, and it will no longer be about just sitting there and collecting rent, and it will no longer enough to be incredibly rich. You must have 35% growth, and from a gamer's point of view, the world will end. And I don't know how I will handle that when that time comes, besides living in a cave or whatever. Okay, I think we got all the metallics. I want to write to Bodge. Working on my 40 Graveguard and starting my Goliath gang. Right to repair intensifies. Right to repair always intensifies. Walls and stuff that is found in or around walls, or splattered all over the walls, depending on how you make your save rolls. Also to repair it badly or become a weird abomination, aka kit bashing. Kit bashing is a way of life, not just for minis. And that is not even a joke I'm making. That is legitimately a thing. Well, and that's where we get into why it's important to understand and be able to access the technology and the things that you work with, is so you can fix them when you break, and why the insidiousness of things like Windows removing your ability to interact with things under the hood is not merely annoying but also destructive, because it removes your ability to understand what's going on and actually fix it, which, if you're in the business of selling those things, is great. You're in the business of using them is terrible. So you should try to understand the things you use. But I do also, there is a line of that, like we all only have so much time. Hello, Katie Smith. For example, there was another Discord which is not any related to any of you, but I was talking with somebody. I was trying to talk about my 3D printer, and someone was kind of just like chewing me out for having bought a 3D printer. And their stance was, no, if you at all care about 3D printing, you need to know how to build your own 3D printer from scratch. You should never have bought this thing from any company. You should have bought all the parts and learned how to build it from scratch, because that's the only way to 3D print. And it's like, I don't have time for that. Now, part of that is that the printer I bought is from Bamboo Labs, which is an evil company and has since become more evil. And I didn't know that at the time when I bought it, or else I probably would have gotten something a little more hobbyist grade. And if I ever buy another printer, it won't be from Bamboo. But I'm not. I don't have the printing is enough of a hobby. I do not have the time to learn the entire structure behind building your own printer, because it's a lot. However, it does make you more powerful. All gamers start playing One Piece. What's the change over the generation? Yeah. Visit, not watch. I'll avoid getting too much into politics or social things here. Not because they're not important. In fact, quite the opposite, because they're very important, and one idiot painting Necromunda on a stream is probably not the best way to have informed opinions about them. I can blab all day about my opinions. Also, remember, it's not my channel. But yeah. Knowing how your own stuff works is cool. But we can definitely apply that to tabletop games, because knowing how the games work and the innards of them is what lets you make house rules, right? Knowing how your paints work and the innards of them is what lets you do new techniques. Okay, what am I missing on here? You should use one printer, at least pretends to care about your ownership. You need to have approved your printer money. Uh-huh. Yep, and I did not at the time. And I still don't think I do. I'm gonna have to eat that, because it's the more I see it, it's like, whoop. My gun goes up at an angle, just like everyone else's. My doctor said it's completely normal. All right, what am I missing? Let's do a check to make sure I'm not missing any big splotches before I put some washes on. Oh, right, I gotta redo the boots down here. Time for a Josh's Opinion Rundown channel. Oh, God. If I ever do that, please just, tell Mitchell to shoot me. Little straps down here. then down here. There we go. We do have a local guy, Sean, who's been on the channel once or twice, way back when, and who's a Necromunda player who was very much a printer guru. So I do have a local resource for when this bamboo craps out, which it will eventually. And when that happens, I will get another printer. I will take the jump into Prusa or something else that allows me a little bit more control and doesn't give bamboo my money for being kind of comically evil. Some of the best finance militaries in the world love to mess around with bendy guns. It's fine. No, we're not going there. Hey, I already brought up the Czech gun that has the tilted sideways bolt. All right, that's your bone, Daniel. That's what you get today. Which I think is it the VZ-24? I don't remember. You might know better than me. Also, we can involve efforts towards consolidation. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to get into that, and let me put it this way: I'm not going to get into that because I don't agree with you. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm not going to get into that because, at the end of the day, I don't need to ramble about it too much on stream. Tend to get a printer once I've got set up with a job in my own place. Yes. Finish your doctorate first. Mostly so I can go on to Discord and change your name to Dr. Spudgy. I have no idea about guns other than the Royal Army guys told me on YouTube about them. Well, as an American, I have to. This is the only way I could pass my citizenship test when you turn 18. And then they give you your N1 Garand. I have vague knowledge of guns and vague knowledge of history and check. And those intersections don't help. Okay, look, I know this. It was that tilting bolt rifle where the gun goes like this, not because of the bendy barrel thing like that one very dumb Israeli gun, but because the tilting bolt, instead of being up and down like the later German ones that stole the idea, because the Germans stole a lot of things from the Czechs during World War II. Because that's the way they did the tilting bolt, and it was I believe it was an interwar semi-automatic rifle that was, again, like many Czech things of that time, incredibly innovative for its time. The sculptors of GW must really like Square Enix because it loves the Strass belts, right? There's so many of them. Who's buzzing me? Dinosaur yay, elves boo, says Mitchell. I disagree. Turns out German did crimes. That's a contentious statement there, Spudgy. Did I remember to paint hers from the behind? I did this time. Haha. Sorry, that was a really weird sentence. I meant the cloth, not her behind. Brush British gun? The Bren. Yep, the Bren. The Bren was so good that it took them 80 years to make a Bren 2. Turns out the notion about German engineering go back all that engineering getting stolen from Czechs during the war, and well, before the war, right? It was the Munich Agreement that functionally handed Czechia, well, then Czechoslovakia, over to Germany without a fight, and then the Germans spent a few years looting Czech technology, including the tank. Like, the Panzer is a Czech tank, the Panzer 1. Germans stole it and went, ooh, this is a great idea, and then used it to make the Panzer 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I just wish the Bren gun didn't have a top-loading magazine. Well, yeah, but I have a character limit. That's fair, yeah. All right, I think we are ready to apply a wash here. I know I'm like checking this over and over and over again because I want to just like really make sure. All right. Well, I should probably let her dry a little bit, actually. Let's take a look at our... Where'd my big brush go? I found my big brush. Top-loading magazine, so you could be... I know why. I just hate them. Like, not that I've ever been able to fire a Bren, and probably never will, because, it's a machine gun, literally. And also an antique machine gun. Nope. Look, even with that, oh man, even with that coat of painted on matte varnish, like, that gray is hydrophobic as heck. Nope. I'm going to have to matte varnish these with spray and come back to it. Yeah, wow. Sometimes it's about setting yourself up for success, or in my case, failure. Okay. Let me see, it's 2 o'clock, so we've been up live for an hour. I'm gonna take a quick stretch and drink break. You should do the same if you've been sitting down for a bit. Ba-da-da. Fire a alien invasion. You're given weapons from the British Museum and told to hold the line. It's like, well, all right. So I've got the Malkadon, Yeld, and Jakara Spire Hunters. For an incursion gang, you can't get the Spire Hunt Master, so I'm not worried about that one. And like, so you got the Yeld, Jakara, and the Malkadon. The Jakara is Captain America, probably the best one in here because that shield gives them way more defensive. And is also pretty good in combat. The Malkadon is kind of like the stealthy one. It's our least favorite. And then my personal favorite, the Yeld, because they start with a 2-up ballistic skill, and also they have wings. Look at that guy. Or gal. We're building them. I believe you have bad opinions, a YouTube channel, and can't pronounce... Alright. Zbrojovka? Zbrojovka? Zbrojovka. Ah! I don't know my Czech well enough. CZ will let you fire anything. But what will be the bullets for that gun? There might be one. I forget what the Bren fires. I actually don't remember what the CZ Bren fires. The old one, not the current one. The current one fires, like, the current one's built in like 6 different calibers because they just want to conquer every market in the world. But I forget what the CZ Bren, the Bren one from the World War II fires. Is it in 303 British? Because that's who mostly used it. I'm not gonna look it up right now. Alright. Hey, look, it's the first one out of the box. I gave my Yeld Jakari Scourge Wings. Ooh! Oh, I sold my Jakari Scourge. Oh, dang, because I had some Jakari Scourge, and I sold them to a local who was starting as Jakari because I didn't ever play them. That's a good idea. I do like the wings on here, although I will say these wings are like the Pal World jump jet wings are right out of this. 303 British. 792 by 57 Mauser. 303. Okay, so they made... Alright, well, the 762 by 51 NATO didn't... And the 762 by 39, those are post-war calibers. Okay, so they just make a bunch of Brens that would fire in either British or German or American rounds. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. Plus, if not from my account earlier, the character limit prevents me from doing so. Plus, not... Yeah, no, you're absolutely fine, Omega. But, like, yeah. Again, it's... I'm not saying let's not get into it because I disagree with you. I'm very much a fan of let's decentralize things and all that kind of stuff. But we don't want to get into that here just because, again, we don't want to get into it not because it's not important, but because it is important, and you should get into it in places where that is more useful. I think they converted most of them to NATO. Yes, I mean, yeah, that's the thing is like after the war, you had a whole bunch of CZ Brens, and then what do you do with them? Well, oh, that's a double sprue. I didn't realize that. That's cool. And the Irish using them in the 90s, yes. I mean, they work. They work fine. All right, so number 1. We're just doing this while we're waiting for her to dry before we put a wash on. All right, where's number one? Where's number one? Where's number one? I hate GW sprues now because, like, none of this is, the numbers aren't laid out next to each other. Here's one. Eh. Oh, yeah, they converted most of them. I mean, you can still... Well, okay, I was about to say you can still buy 3S3 British in stores, but that's because I'm in the United States. You can buy any rounds in stores, right? If I've been to fire gun, things gone very south. Dr. Spudgy, man that machine gun. The aliens are here. They saw Warhammer and thought it was a threat. And so they're attacking Nottingham. They consider Games Workshop to be their #1 enemy. Can't see him well enough to aim. My knees don't work. I have PTSD. I'm sorry. I hope they find a better use for me. I mean, yeah. Now we're into doomsday scenarios, which are always fun. That's sarcasm. I think at this point we'd all be a lot happier if we were, like, thinking about aliens being the end of the world. If they're attacking Nottingham, good luck to the guys. Dr. Spudgy, we need you to defend Games Workshop in Nottingham. I'm good. You know what? I think he's got it. Should have thought of that before they jacked up the price on the Baneblade again. Yeah, things have to be real bad for someone to hand me a gun. Where's my... Can't find my favorite file. For a stream assembly, it'd be me clipping off sprue nubs and getting out the Dremel to sand down mold lines. Oh, there it is. No, that's not it. Grumble, grumble. Oh, there are some hard folks in Nottingham. Yeah, I've heard Nottingham can be kind of a rough town. I am just apparently not firing in all cylinders today. Ah, there it is. Okay. So now we can shopping him for a bit. Good heavens. I don't normally stream assembly because I don't think it's particularly interesting, but I don't want to start another person while last drying, so we'll kind of bounce back and forth. It's the only place in the UK I've heard gun crime happening. Interesting. Well, I assume it's because it's where they make all the guns is in the Warhammer factory. They're churning out all those guns, and that's clearly Oh, was my chat on screen? Yeah. They're churning out all the plastic guns, and that is clearly, if I've learned anything from political figures, it's that violence in media causes violence in the streets, especially when it's video games. And clearly that means Warhammer, because it's like a video game. Yeah, I don't Dremel down my mold lines. I just use I don't even particularly like this hobby knife. It's just what I have right now, and I'm going to use it up. I got it back when I was, like, buying everything Monument made for some reason. It's not bad. I don't mean to diss Monument. It's fine. It's just, it's excessive, and it's not any better than my scalpel with a really cheap scalpel blade, which is way less expensive to, keep running. Because these, you have to... I will say this is a lot better than the one with the snappable blades. I do not like those. I actively dislike the snappable blade ones. By the way, if you get some Jules Magnifying Glass, you really hope you get all those mold lines you'd miss until painting. Yes, my eyes unfortunately are going, and I need to get some of those. Well, honestly, what I need to do is go to the eye doctor. It's been a long time, and I think my eyes are actually progressing to the point where I need to do that, because I am noticing that I'm having trouble reading things on computer screens that I did not used to have trouble. But I'm hitting my mid-30s. And if you're not in your mid-30s yet, it'll come for you. It's not bad, by the way. I'm actually much happier now than I ever was when I'm in my 20s. But I do also see worse. right-handed and right-eyed, and also mostly blind on my right eye. So I feel like handing the gun to the dog would be effective as given to me. You could be gun dog, but you could be the gun. You could be the dog's sighter. Like the dog's the one shooting the machine gun, but you're the one like pointing out targets and like holding the belt feed. On a CZ Bren. But you live in America, so it's $1,000. We're all living in America. America. It's wonderbar. Oh. Even glasses, the hypermagnification. Yes, I do need to look into those. Yep, sooner rather than later, because you're struggling makes your eyes worse. Yeah, I'm really noticing that on the PC. It's not super bad with this. 4? Okay. Clip. Have you considered that seeing things might be the thing, that not seeing things might be the thing making you happier? Ignorance is bliss. Just put the 3 by the 4, or don't number it that. Gosh. Okay, I guess they did in this case. I'm just not paying attention. Yeah, there we go. Where'd my file? I keep putting my file down and then not. Dog model of the turret. That seems pretty doable with the Orlac dogs. Orlac dogs. Ooh, I clipped that one way too close to the... Yuck, I messed that up. Oh well. It'll be battle damage. You could probably take a dog and put a turret on it. Have it be the Orlac Road relic. It's just a dog with a turret. I actually have never been to the eye doctor, so I have no idea how much it will cost. I hope it's not $1,000. I can't afford that. I keep spending all my money on Warhammer. That's a real gift for the Magi situation, right? You can't see your Warhammer because you can't afford glasses because you spent all your money on Warhammer. I get scared my wife is going to... Well, tell you what, if you want me to, I'll keep an eye out. If there's ever a picture from your account that is you with your headlamp and lenses, I'll delete it for you, and I'll be like, hey, Mrs. Battleshock's favorite Nurgling. No shaming. I felt really bad because the person who just joined that, like, had a very young account, so we were joking around with him that they would be a bot. They joined the Board Games Rundown Discord first because that's where I think a old link went to. And they over there, they weren't very nice because they were like, oh, 2-day account. I think they just like banned them immediately. It's like, I always give, that's why we have the Honey Trap channel, the Fly Trap channel. It's a way worse version of that one Twilight Zone episode. Yeah. I had all the time now. It's not fair. It's that, but you can't paint minis. Spuranger once again makes you think about how you need to get one of the entry grade Gundam kits, see what you're missing. I know, I just haven't found one that, like, I always look at the Gundam kits because the store gets a new stock in every now and then. First off, I almost always send you a picture, so you usually know what it is. And I just haven't found any that really makes me go, ooh, I want to build that. And it's aesthetically, I guess Gundam usually just isn't my thing, but I know there's a lot of different Gundam aesthetics. I just don't care enough to go seek one out and actually order it. I have all the money to spend on Warhammer, but I can't see them. Does that go there? Yes. Okay. Yeah, always had the bad ones. I just went, but it was like $300 for my glasses and visit, but that was with insurance. Oh, Well, I can't afford that. The new Kill Team box is dropping. And I gotta get them elves on dinosaurs. Dinosaurs. Dino DNA. R.I.P. Sam Neill, by the way, if you didn't see the news. Ugh. That one hurts. That one hurts. I don't get super upset about celebrity deaths usually because, I don't know them, but Sam Neill hurts. I need to steal the Honeypot channel for the Battleshock Discord because boys suck. I mean, I do agree boys suck too, but I think you mean bots. Yeah, I use Carlbot is what we use for that. It's free, I took my eye out of the socket to hack into it for free. Ugh. Yeah, so far it's worked. I know it doesn't work against people who join and then send DMs to other people because we've had, the only way around that, unfortunately, is vigilance. All right, so here's the thing. Wait. Oh. Ooh, see, that's a tough one because she only comes with the yelled laser gauntlets. But I wanted to put the rocket launchers that are on the rules, and I guess there's not a kit for that. So we're going to have to do some converting. Let's build the body first. Let's continue with building the body first. And then we'll, So wait, can you... Okay, so the Huntmaster uses the same torso. Very interesting how they do this. Let's build the body first, and then we'll leave the arms off for now, the hands off for now, because you can see that the 2 laser gauntlets, because basically you can have the laser gauntlets or the missile launchers it's a free upgrade. And the missile launchers start out a little not as good, but they get way better. Once you get rack some kills, and also I just think the concept of a laser gauntlet is way cooler, or of the missile gauntlet is way cooler. So we'll do some converting later. That might be next stream, if I don't get impatient and do it myself. I don't think I will though, because I think off stream I'm going to be doing the walls. Just fine. This is more exciting anyway. Well, not this part. This part's just building. Now I've got America stuck in my head, which is kind of a shame because I don't even really like Rammstein. I'm aware of a mecha skirmish game that uses gunpla-like assembly for the parts, but isn't actually gunpla. Now you're not talking about the one that is just the Gundam skirmish game that they're coming out with, or came out with. I kind of lost track of that one. Right? Is it a different one than that one? I am not familiar with that if it is. I have to look into that. Yeah, my Gundam knowledge is functionally entirely through Daniel Jennegraus here, honestly. Because even locally, I don't think there's really any Gundam people. I mean, there must be, because the game store keeps stocking them, and they keep disappearing. They both came out with and are coming out. There's a card game and a war game, and the card game also came with minis. Ember, Obsidian Protocol. I am not at all familiar with this. I'll have to look that up later. Oh, I was about to do this backwards. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so this... Right, because they're in a suit, so that's not actually their arm. The war game is yet to release? Okay. I was about to try and put the arm on backward. This is why you always dry fit. Slurp, slurp, slurp. Back at the Kickstarter myself. Congratulating getting my pledge in the posters. They've released the complete parts. Interesting. You know, it's been such a long time since I, Josh, you idiot. Put the wrong one in there. It's been such a long time since I backed a Kickstarter with anything physical, just because I keep getting... The last one I did... Well, okay, the second to last one I did was the Darkest Dungeon board game, and if you know how that one turned out, that was a tire fire. It worked out in the end, because everybody got everything for free, but I could have gotten all that anyway without paying for it, so... and I ended up selling my copy that I did get to somebody before they came out with all of it for free, so it kind of came out okay, but it really soured me. And, like, yeah, I get that, you know, a big part of that was COVID supply chain disruptions and all that, but kind of really put me off of ever backing anything with physical stuff for quite a long time. Their YouTube channel released a video on the game, the struggles the company has faced getting it to release. Yeah, things are rough out there for, I mean, everybody. Okay, so her arm is coming up like that, Captain America style. Where is number 9? Number 9? Number 9? That's number 19. There we go. And number 20. At least with these tiny sprues, they're tiny. So they're easy to... I should finish that sentence so it makes sense. So they're easy to navigate is what I'm saying. Why do they always insist on putting sprue gates on ball joints? Oh, this needs to be perfectly spherical. Let's put a sprue gate there. Who hurt you, Jerry? Everyone. I'm not a number. I'm a free man. Plot twist, I got into The Prisoner, which I have seen. It's been a long time. I need to watch The Prisoner again. Because I watched it as a teenager, and I probably didn't understand it as much as I would now. Like, just the references and stuff. But I watched it because I bought an Iron Maiden album. The one with the Number of the Beast on it, because I heard that, and I was a teenager, so I was like, oh, this is awesome! And one of the songs on the Iron Maiden album is "The Prisoner," which uses "I am not a number, I'm a free man" as the opening to that song. I'm not a prisoner, I'm a free man. Anyway, and that made me go look up what that was, and that made me listen, and that made me watch "The Prisoner." However, it's been so long I don't remember almost any of it. Except that I liked it, so. Yeah, I know you guys watched it again, and I missed that, because I'm terrible with watch-alongs for some reason. However, I do have Fast and Furious 1 queued up that I will watch again as we do our Fast and Family-ous watch-along, because I've never seen past 2, and apparently 3 is good, and 4 is where it goes off the rails. I think I have it set up to block links here, Omega? However, we do have our Discord, if you'd like, and you can post it there, because that one does have a channel for that. I think I have it set up to block links here. I mean, I guess you can try, and we'll see what happens. If you get smacked by a bot for it, I apologize. Last time I did was Trench Crusade, yeah, which, well, how was your experience with the Trench Crusade Kickstarter? Because I didn't back it because I do 3D printing, so I heard lots of people had not a great time with some of the minis. Iron Maiden is perfectly good reason to get in that show. I mean, Iron Maiden's fine. I'm not dissing Iron Maiden. Like, they're Iron Maiden. We all know what Iron Maiden is at this point. It's cool rock. Oh, mention the channel's name. Oh, yeah, sure, go ahead. Yeah, I don't mind. You know, it's one of those, it's a nuance thing. I don't want to go, no talking about other channels or anything like that. As long as people aren't, like, spamming, hey, come watch this channel, or hey, come watch my channel. you know, um, that's where it's a nuance thing because like yeah, I sometimes content creators have to like put a lock on that kind of stuff, and I totally get why, but I don't think we're there yet. And if we ever get there, well, we'll do that. Okay, so the top actually goes up here. But yeah, you go ahead and mention the channel's name. That is perfectly fine. I will possibly look into it later. 4 isn't great, but 5 is where it gets proper good. Okay. I was watching old episodes of Watching Play, speaking of other channels, from Loading Ready Run, and Graham was mentioning that, yeah, 4 is where things get... 4 is where he said, they said, what if we just stopped caring, and it's glorious. I remember I liked 1 as a little kid because, cars that go vroom, and they go near, and you're like, oh, this is so cool. I identify with this. Oh yeah, and I appreciate that Omega Guide is always appreciated. And then 2 was utterly forgettable. I actually remember a fair bit of 2, so I probably won't watch it again when you guys get to that, because it was just, I mean, I remember almost all of 2, and it was very forgettably boring. Like, I don't, nothing about that excited me. I have not seen Tokyo Drift, which everyone says is the one that people skip because they thought it was the bad one, but don't skip it is actually quite good. So I will not skip Tokyo Drift. I will watch Tokyo Drift. Also, for the number of times I made Tokyo Drift jokes in our racing video, I have to watch it. Hobby Homies. That's funny. Obsidian Protocol. I will check that out later. Again, I'm just not super into Gundam, but yeah, you never know. All right. Okay. Well, let's wait for this to dry a little bit and go put a wash on. It's forgettable, so I remember all of it. You don't have to put me on blast, Spudgy. No, that's the problem. Is like I have this incredible. Okay, I don't remember all of it. Sorry. Here's what I remember. I remember the ending, and I remember the twist ending. The way he like steals money at the end. That's all I remember. I remember the beginning, so I guess I don't remember all of it. Okay, so for the washes, haha, you actually get to see me put a wash on that isn't just at the end of the show. We're going to start with a null. No, sorry, we're not going to start with a null. We're going to start with Reichland, my favorite. This remains my favorite flesh wash. Shake it, shake it, shake it. I watched 1 yesterday because the aforementioned watch along, and it's 13-year ideals of cool cars with zero connection to reality. Yes, absolutely. Like the whole NOS thing, like, he hits the button on the steering wheel, and it goes, yeah. Like, I actually remember 1 very well as well because, okay, so here's the thing. In the United States, there's a culture of parents who don't have time for their kids because they're terrible and have to work all the time. So you have, the VHS babysitter. So you have, movies on rotation, right, that are just always playing. And one of the ones that we had on rotation was the Fast and the Furious 1. So I've seen the Fast and the Furious 1 probably 24 times as a young man. But yeah, I remember the Fast and Furious 1, which I do think is, I mean, it's a silly movie, but it's a, it's a very fun car movie. I remember that very well. You owe me a 6-second car, not a 60-second car. And, the truck heist and, like, the thing with that guy torturing the other guy with the gasoline, that sticks in my brain. And, oh, that poor guy with the white hatchback car, and he gets killed. And then, Paul Walker's car, or not Paul Walker's, Vin Diesel's car, that was his dad's, and they race it. And he gives him the car at the end. I remember 1 very, very well as well. Interestingly, I am not sure what color I'm going to use for her hair for a wash. Because I want to maintain that bright red, or that kind of almost auburn look. Whereas her, I actually kind of regret I might redo her hair. That's my son's favorite movie. I mean, it's fine. Like, it's not bad. The characters make sense. They have motivations, and the bad guys are suitably bad, and it's just cool. I remember the pizza guy shows up, and he's the one who calls the cops on the racers, and they have all the cars blocking off the thing. Although I did forget for, like, a long time that Paul Walker's character is a cop in that. It's just, oh yeah, that's why he joined that whole thing. And of course, then, I went from there to playing Need for Speed Most Wanted. Yeah, I am thinking that's what I'm thinking is a reddish wash Omega. Like I'm thinking a deeper red wash. I might try this flesh wash because it has a little bit of red, but I think these are the same color, so it won't actually work. So I might go get like my Carroburg Crimson. But I remember being even as a kid, like a teenager when it came out, I remember being disappointed by 2, which is a lot. Which, like, you know, when you're a teenager and you're disappointed by the Fast and the Furious movie, you know that it's not very good. There we go. There are a few words in it you'd leave out today. I mean, yeah, that's Back to Trench Crusade Kickstarter. And got the physical pledge from New Antioch. Minis were just fine for me when they arrived. And only had to do slight heat converting correction. Okay, that's good. Mine in DVC was Underground 2. I think 2 doesn't work for kids. No. Yeah, my Need for Speed was Most Wanted. Man, that was a good game. That's whenever I play a racing game, I am chasing the dragon of what Need for Speed Most Wanted was to teenage me. I am sure that if I went and played Need for Speed Most Wanted now, it would not be what my brain says it is. I'm sure there are nostalgia glasses. But when I play like Forza Horizon, I am chasing that dragon in my head. Hello, Code Monkey. Let's come back to the hair. Redhead IRL, so always like to have a bunch of characters. Yeah, for some reason, all 3 of the ones I painted so far have red hair. I think it's because it's a striking color against the black. These 2 I'm saying are siblings, because they've got the same hair and skin color. So I'm like, this is brother and sister, right? They're both gangers they're trying to build their way up. The original Most Wanted. There was a second Most Wanted. Did they remake that? I didn't realize that. She has I'm kind of like going for like a dirtier, like almost, I guess I was trying to go for a ginger color on her, but then I used way too dark a wash. I might redo it. We'll come back to her. Let's put a Nuln Oil over the rest of the stuff, and then we'll come back to the hair. Yeah, the one for PlayStation 2, Jenna. With the BMW M4 on the cover. I wanted that car. Oh my gosh. I wanted that car. Even more Most Wanted her. Well, now to be fair, before that, the game I actually played the most of as a kid was Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit on the PC. That game I played ungodly hours of, because that was back when when you're growing up and you don't have a ton of money. I was never poor. I know it's not fishing for some kind of weird sympathy here, but you had a computer game, like a few. You didn't get a new game every week or whatever. You got a new game a year, which was fine. It's probably better for me actually. And mine was Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit and Age of Empires 2. A Lotus Elan, yeah, the Lotus Elise are also. Spin the family works in the Urlag game. I did think about making them all the same family. It could be a Fast and Furious joke. They're all family. Oh no. Oh no. Well, here's the thing though. It's like I've already painted some guys. Like my Arms Master already has the dark skin, and I'm not changing that. Like that's going to be his skin color. I like to have a variety of skin colors in my gang because I think it adds visual interest. Oh yeah, Age of Empires 2 is going way stronger than my desire to play Age of Empires 2. Nothing against it. I just don't particularly want to play it again. I think I played so much of it as a kid that it's not particularly interesting to me anymore. Like, and that when my friends came over, we played Age of Empires 2, either together or against each other. So I have, yeah, oh gosh, Wololo. Stone, please. Wood, please. Family. My dad had one when I was very little. Oh. It was such a good game, yeah. He could be an in-law. He could be married in. He could be married to, like, one of the twins, or maybe he's married to her, right? Like, we're expanding the lore here. Ooh. Sad. Yo, I am sure, Spudgy, that if we played it, you would whip me to the ends of the earth at this point. I can't play like real-time strategy games like that. I get my butt. My micro is woeful nowadays. I don't have the skills to like, especially I can kind of do it in like Total War Warhammer, where you're only managing 20 units at a time. But the micro required for games like Age of Empires or StarCraft, yeah, I just don't have it in me anymore. I don't think I ever had it, honestly. I don't think I had it as a kid either, because I always played them on single player, you know. And I always played against the computer, and you just I did that thing where you would build a giant force and then steamroll everybody at once. Um, so yeah, I'm sure that if we played Age of Empires, you would like raffle stomp me. I do not have micro. My gang is all gonna have blue skin because I'm making Kolos for my favorite books. I am not familiar with those. Kolos. The only blue skin aliens I'm familiar with is the Chiss from Star Force. There's a lot less microwave than StarCraft. Oh, you double posted that there, Battleshock. Are you having internet problems or am I having internet problems? Oh no. Oh no. Come on, baby. Hold together. But yeah, Age of Empires 2, like it's interesting that they released Age of Empires 3 and it was kind of a yeah. People didn't love it. And then they were just like, well, screw it. What if we just like milked Age of Empires 2 for the end of time? But they don't really seem to be doing it in like a malevolent way. So it's okay. I didn't paint her. I should realize I didn't paint the skull under there. Whatever. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, okay. I don't know why I said the only blue aliens I'm familiar with, because I can think of lots of blue aliens. Sorry, Protoss. Um, I can think of more. Give me time. I'm bad at thinking of things on the spot. It's like when Daniel said, "Can you name like 4 good movies?" and I couldn't name any, and they were like, "Well, that's because you didn't watch good movies." It's like, no, I can't think of good movies on the spot. Okay, I think their music's still going. Oh, I forgot about Age of Empires 4. StarCraft TMG. What is TMG? You're making James Cameron sad. I am deliberately not mentioning those. So I just realized I forgot to paint her belt buckle. I also realized I forgot to paint the back panel on the Heavy Bolter gal. So, the Josh forgetting to paint things score is not dropping today. StarCraft the miniatures game. Oh yeah. So because I have no connection to StarCraft, I haven't really been looking into it. However, everyone else on the miniatures rundown crew is looking into it, and actually, there's a fair chunk of our group chat that is kind of like being annoyed that it's not out yet, and that we didn't pick it up at Adepticon. We have had some coverage of it, and we will continue to cover it when it actually drops and we can actually get our hands on it. You probably won't see a lot of me on there. I just have no, I have no like, I don't know, lack of a better term, spiritual connection to it. So I won't be. I might be in on that. Like maybe they'll teach me how to play. From Mistborn Sires by Brandon Sanderson. Okay. When I get into that though, you should play some AO2. They're very simple to play. We should play like a giant 4-player game, because that's what I used to do. It was always hilarious. Yeah, they're very silly games. I love them. Does the code for the Cobra still work? Can you still get the Cobra car in there with the machine guns? I imagine that doesn't work in multiplayer because then everyone would use it, right? Yeah, I forgot about Age of Empires 4. It pops up on my Steam like recommended because I play so much Total War Warhammer. But I never clicked on it. Okay. So I gotta get her hand, gotta get the other side of this. By the way, I am a dirty cheater. If you're wondering, I do not drill my barrels. I paint black dots on the front because Except for like really, really high-end character models, I might take the time to do that, but I just take a black dot and I put it on the front because I'm... There's also modes like exploding villagers. Oh my gosh. How do you turn this on? I remember that. Vroom vroom, and then you click it and it would, yeah. Ah. Oh gosh, I'm sure they've added so many. I think I own it. I think, oh, maybe I don't own the remaster. Maybe I only own the old version of AoE 2 on Steam. I still have the CD. Like, currently pre-ordered the proto set for Team G release and playing the build out in cases of local media writers. So yeah, well, I mean, you might have to be the local community that arises, you know? And it's not easy to build a game community from scratch, especially when it's a non-Warhammer game. I didn't say making James Cameron sad is wrong. Okay, you know what? Fair. You say some drilling out barrels. I mean, I have nothing against drilling out barrels. I just don't do it. I don't find the juice worth the squeeze in that case. For me. Okay, Ooh, okay. So do we want to play with the hair? Let's play with the hair. Let's try a... Okay, so I've got her this kind of... I will say that on camera, this looks more ginger. In real life, it's more of an auburn. If you want to know the actual color I used, it's camo brown. Oh, wait, I've got to do one more thing. I've got to really water down the, this, and then... Oops. Get a big spoonful of that. And then... Been building communities from scratch for years? Oh, okay, so you know what you're used to. Yeah, so you know what you're in for. Yeah, okay. Well, in that case, I will only say good luck. And hopefully that you can find other people who want to play it. Because yeah, I have no emotional attachment to StarCraft, but the minis look cool. So we're really watering down, or not watering down, we're really... nope, that was too much. Need more. Who was it? Was it Exhibit that I pimp lifestyles and communities? Your local game store's Exhibit. There we go. We're really just like, yeah, mediuming down a black wash to get something that manages to shade this without dirtying it to heck, which is what I did for this lad. He has a very, very dirty cloth, unlike his sister here. I'll repaint his cloth. I found your channel was to see some different games to ensure I had viable lists from doing no demos. Well, I hope it helped. If not, well, we'll be redoing them when the new edition comes out. I think that is one thing that we would want to do more of that we didn't do a lot of. And I think the reason we didn't do them is because we were kind of afraid to, like, commit. Which is doing more lists, like offering more starting lists. Because there are some people who just want to, like, get off the ground and go. And as much as I am a very firm believer in you should know the tools behind your gang and be able to build them, some people just want to play, you know? And I think I'm coming around to that idea that even though that's not my style, I'm very much a tinkerer, that doesn't mean you should lock out people who do. All right, so I've got a lot of washes here. I've got this. This is a very red wash. I've also got... Do I have just one that's just called Red Wash? Well, I've got Carroburg Crimson, which is... Carroburg Crimson. Ditto or Tinker, yeah. Well, and if, the other one... If you're being a gaming instigator, to steal a term from tabletop minions. I always hate the term alpha gamer, especially in the modern context, because it makes me sound like I'm... Anyway, I'm going to try this Vine Root Shade, because it's got this red. If this doesn't work, it's okay. We'll just redo her hair and retry again. Oh. I think that might be it, folks. Look at that. It's kind of adding some further red to her hair. I have my vendor list, Inquisitor, and it was written as my main gang. Still haven't built my vendors. I've built a bunch of them. I just haven't put the list together. Because the Secundus thing kind of derailed that, and I was like, I need to build a more practical list. There we go. Wow, that adds a real red tone to her hair. Actually, kind of almost looks like blood. So, but that will fade as it dries, and as we highlight it back with the camo brown. Might not be what I want. Oh, it did. Ah. It did freeze, thank you. It might not be what I want. I'll need to think about it. Well, let's put you away to dry. Let it fully dry before we make any decisions. The problem's plain to see. Too much technology. The camera flipping froze. Da-na-na. The time has come at last. Secret, secret. I've got a secret. Yeah, I just kind of forgot to do this, so now I have to get in here and do it underneath everything that I'm gonna either have to like dodge or repaint. So going great. The grapple launcher tip. Folks mentioned this parting up getting at melee ogre. Yes. Whee! Okay, good enough. We'll wash that later. I reject your move as a basic 12-inch action. And replace it with a 12-inch move outside of charge. Bat grin. Bat grin. Use more wash in here anyway. Kind of darken that up. Okay, there we go. Hey, there we go. All right. We got 10 minutes. Let's, I guess. Ah! I just touched the thing that's drying? No, I didn't. Okay. Let's let you sit there and dry, and we'll go back to our which one is this? Malkadon. Okay. 32 for the head. 32. Where is 32? There you are. Yep. So you intend to have my Ogrins move just a small amount in front of my leader like a scary meat shield. Ogrin charge with a great sword. I mean, should be very funny, depending on what end of the funny you're on. Oh, interesting. So they just mirrored the sprue is mirrored, and the way that's instead of having two sets of wings, they just have one set of wings, and it's just the same piece mirrored twice, which is smart. And then yeah, I'll have to do some kit bashing to figure out how I want to do the missile launchers. Because they can't be very big if they're wrist mounted. That's the challenge, right? Because like I can, missile launchers are everywhere. I've got tons of just, how they have the big missiles from the Lehman Russ kit. Just put those and just put her on her wrists, and just refuse to acknowledge it as a problem. But I'm sure I can find some tiny rockets somewhere, or something, or just a tube, that sells the idea of missile launchers. And yeah, I could just put the laser guns on there and just say, make it very clear on her kit or on her card that she has missiles, but that's less fun to me. Hmm. That antenna there is going to be a problem if I'm not very careful. Agrins and converted Mark 1 Stormcast Eternal. Yeah, that makes sense. Inquisitors, there's a flexible piece. Yeah, I usually like to have my leader as a flex piece. That is one downside to having this as my leader, is that she is not a flex piece. She is very much a ranged character. Is the Malkadon. The hunt leader is the only flex piece, but you can't have a hunt leader be the. Ironically, you can't have a hunt leader be the leader of an incursion gang. A hunt leader can only be the gang leader of a spire hunter gang. If I recall correctly. I think I had that right. Yeah, a little mold lines in here. Time, and now I've got Mr. Roboto stuck in my head. You'll notice there's a theme here, which is I get songs stuck in my head very easily, and it's entirely my own fault. Heavy bolter special slot things with las guns. Nope. I just stuck that into my finger there. I wasn't paying attention. Here we go. Yeah. All my chances are mainly focused. Okay, so interesting. I don't think I've ever run a proper full melee gang. I always really like having flexibility. Like even my Van Sar has a melee Archaeotech in it. I do intend to pick up a cheap sniper champ though, just because the Dome Run Mini is cool. I mean, the Dome Run Mini is way cool and absolutely worth it. All right, so are these? Yep, these are. Okay, so these are going on after she goes on her base because these are just fully flexible, posable wings. You just have to stick. Oh, that's a nightmare. I hate when they do that. I mean, it's nice for flexibility, but, like, that's not going to stick without some serious plastic glue. Okay, let's get out the base they're on. Which one do we want? At least you got a wide contact point. You have to basically put it at the back of the flippin' base, though. Otherwise, she'll be yeeting herself off the front. Even with the back of the base, she's still going to be yeeting herself off the front. Sword and board spire. Yeah, I mean, and that is like my second choice. I just really think I just really like the Malkadon with the wings. Like, this is almost entirely an aesthetic choice, honestly. And you know what? I might not go with it. Oh yeah, Spudgy, I'm just saying I've never personally gone. I'm just kind of continuing with the thought of going, I could do a full melee gang some point, maybe. I don't know, it's hard for me. I really like flexibility. I really like the ability to do... I like toolkits, you know? Wow, that's just... She is so far forward off that base, you know? And there's no way around that. Okay. Picked up the Vindicare Assassin mini for use as my sniper champ because I want the champ mini to be suitably bougie. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. That's what I'm doing with my Venators, is like, my leader is the cat, the Rogue Trader cat. Meow. And the champions are, like, you know, where'd she go? I don't know. But, you know, these guys, the Void's Men-at-Arms. I converted one to plasma gun. And then the mooks will just be kind of like regular mooks. I do like to blam too. All I want to do is cash register noise and take your money. All I want to do, do 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 da 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 dee da dee dee. I'm sure that's incomprehensible to anybody who hasn't listened to Neil Segura enough. Alright, we'll go ahead and finish this wing, getting it ready, and then I'm not going to glue them on until she's dry, because I don't trust it farther than I can throw it. And then we'll call it for today, because I got to record eventually. I think next week I'm going to start an hour earlier. Keep an eye on the skies, aka the Discord and the YouTube channel. Because, yeah, I'm going to start at noon Eastern instead of 1 Eastern. It gives me a little more time to play around, because I'm having fun. I'm kind of getting on a roll here. I think 3 hours will be my limit for focus purposes. But we'll see. Obviously, I will post a link in the Discord. I need to use our Blue Sky more. I don't use Twitter. Refuse to. Yeah, I think in my assessing the full Sonic tuning bases, I wanted the mini to not look out of place. Yeah, I just mounted them on the 625mm base for my Bitspot. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, well, it is 3 o'clock. I got to go record Mitchell. So thank you all for joining me. This has been a really fun time chatting with all of you. Covering everything from... I won't even recap everything we covered. It was too much. Keep your eyes peeled. We did a Necromunda, what we think is coming in the new edition video that should be dropping this week. And obviously, we'll keep you posted with any of the news that comes out in the new edition, because we're excited for it. And, well, we're excited to see whether it's good or bad, one way or another. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. If you want to continue the conversation, the Discord is linked below. You're absolutely welcome to join. It's completely free as long as you're not a bot. And then you have to charge you $8 million. I think I have to use please because more might know brand sense in the English language. No, it's not brand new. It's just coming back. All right. Thank you, everyone, once again. Have a great day. Stay safe. Stay unsmoky if you're in the United States or Canada. And I will see you all next time.